Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everybody from all around the world, hello and welcome to another episode of The Watch It with me, yo. Jean-Luc Watch, make some noise. Yes, sir. Clap it up. Get excited wherever you are. We are back with another action-packed show for you today, covering the world of boxing and beyond, predominantly the world of boxing. Today, as we have a lot of questions involving the fight game with Beterbiev having a now announced match against, I believe, Dion Nicholson. However, we had some questions about him versus Bivol, which we thought that was actually going down. Now, the question is Bivol actively out-aging the likes of Beterbiev, so that by the time their fight actually does happen, well, now there's a significant advantage. Also, we have more news in the world of boxing, like with doggone, let me get my notes together so I make sure I have it all. It's been a lot. Fights announced, stuff like with Dillian White, Moses Talma happening next week, I believe, with what would be Moses Talma's biggest fight to date from the standpoint of a legit championship contender of the past in Dillian White, 31-3. Great knockout artist, great power. If he gets over the hump, it's going to be huge for Moses Talma. However, will he be able to take on that task and come out the other side pure gold, or will there be a real bump in the road in the career of one of the most exciting prospects at heavyweight that we have in the modern day of boxing? And don't forget, with the announcement officially being made with the rematch of the generations, Eubank versus Benn 2 officially, or at least seemingly officially, is going down. Yes, sir, it's happening. And we're going to cover what we think is going to happen in the rematch, who needs to take advantage of what, all the paths to victory for each opponent, and of course your thoughts and opinions on the entirety of this whole mega event, all happening on November 15th. For the Eubank fight versus Benn, and November 22nd, for Beterbiev versus Dion Nicholson. But again, before we even get into all that, we got to do the intro. So, ladies and gentlemen, please, if you haven't already, go ahead and leave a like on the stream. Yes, sir. Go on and get the likes up on this show. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Be sure to share the show with everybody that you know so we can keep on building up this empire together. And also be sure hit the notification bell so you know exactly when we post on this channel, and you're able to be up to date on everything that we do right here on the show. So we appreciate you tuning in, appreciate your time and energy. We're happy that you're sticking around. And hey, without further ado, we got boxing to talk about. We got a world of hurt to cover. And since we're talking about boxing first and foremost, it is time to step into the ring. Hey, oh, that's right. Let's get it started. Ring the bell. Round one going underway on the topic of this show with the likes of Beterbiev. And essentially the question is Dimitri Bivol aging out the likes of Beterbiev. Now, that is a very damaging claim. I understand. And we bring this up because there's been an official thing coming to light. We got Beterbiev is now officially announced next for his fight going up against Dion Nicholson, a young but very dangerous light heavyweight contender who is, at this point in time, yes, we didn't think he was going to be fighting the likes of Beterbiev. However, now that it's happening, that's a pretty good threat, though it's not the threat that we all wanted to see. It ain't, hey, all right, props to where props is due. You take on somebody that respectfully got some legitimate damage to him. And again, Nicholson, 34 years old, 22-1, 18 KOs on his resume. Knocked out Devontae Williams in dominating fashion. And so, got some pop to him. But the bigger question is, we thought this was going to be Bivol happening this year. Were we not? Was that not the consensus? Was that not the excitement of the year, or part of the excitement of the year? All the big fights that are happening this year, wasn't one of them being Bivol versus Beterbiev? And again, the timeline of events, Beterbiev beat Bivol their first fight with a torn meniscus. Incredible. Next fight, Bivol rematches and wins against Beterbiev. Beats him by being more aggressive. Wow, incredible. one of the best rematch or essentially duo fights that we've seen against two of the best competitors in the world today. Now they were scheduled to have a third fight. Turkey Al-Sheikh said he didn't want to fund that fight or didn't want to pay for the rights to that fight because he wasn't interested. Or excuse me, the fight with Bivol and Beterbiev was a fight that Turkey Al-Sheikh said he didn't want to fund or didn't want to pay for because he wasn't interested in that. He wanted the trilogy. Similarly, it seemed like Bivol and Beterbiev were going to go at it. Then Bivol relinquishes one of the belts, says, I want to go after unfinished business, so I'm going after the trilogy with Beterbiev. Boom. Everything seems to be all hunky-dory. However, after that, everything went kind of silent. Everything went kind of stalled. Next thing you know, Beterbiev sends out cryptic tweets, not even cryptic, blatant tweets, going and essentially saying, hey, why are you trying to age me out? I'm ready for this fight. We thought this fight was going to happen already. But now you have yet to do your end of the bargain and sign the stuff to make stuff happen. Again, I get paraphrasing, of course, but essentially summarizing what the tweet said. Why is it, what's taking you so long to make this fight happen that you say you want to take place? How old do I need to be before you get in the ring? And now we're here. Beterbiev at 41? No, 40. At 40 years old, I think going to be 41 pretty soon. Now has already gotten a fight has gotten a fight now under his belt. He's preparing. He's prepping. All that training in the gym now is for an actual live opponent that's happening in Dion Nicholson in the near coming months. And Dimitri Bivol, ironically enough, is nowhere to be found. It's the strangest thing. It's the strangest thing. And it's like, and the question really becomes, how is it that Artur Beterbiev has a fight already, but Bivol does not? And how was it if he really wanted that fight to take place? How was it that fight still has yet to get any traction or momentum outside of, hey, I gave up a belt to go after it. Yet still, nothing's going on. Now again, he's got some stuff. I think he had some stuff. Personal life going on. Him, former wife, and whatever the world was going on there. Hey, different conversation. Absolutely. But it did not seem like that was going to affect in the outcome of what was going to transpire with what we have today, or with what we expected to come down the pipeline today. Now, completely different story. And we're looking at a window of potentially missed opportunity on the side of Bivol. And more than a missed opportunity, is it a smart thing for Bivol to not fight Artur Beterbiev and essentially wait for him to get too old and then fight him? Because that's the real concern. Mind you, I have been saying this about Beterbiev versus Bivol for so long. Oh, so long. I have been saying this. I have been waiting, hoping, praying that we don't see this fight get to the point where he is too old to actually have something substantive come out of what that trilogy would be. Because Beterbiev right now is the man on the clock. As dominant as he's been, as much of a behemoth of a fighter that he is, as much of a indomitable force, seemingly, that he's been able to turn himself into. Which, again, yes, he lost to Bivol, but Bivol is a special brother. And so most people, they ain't beating him. And so, with that being the case, outside of one man, this man's not unstoppable. But there is still the one unstoppable force, which is time, that is still moving on the ranks of Artur Beterbiev, even as we speak, despite how much of a Greek god he may look like in the ring. And the best chance to have the best fight would be to make that fight sooner rather than later. The longer you go, the more likely potential we get a situation where the trilogy is not nearly as competitive due to the fight not being what we thought it was going to be, due to a situation where Somebody can't keep up their end of the bargain to be the same dominating force that they were supposed, or that we know them as. It's just ain't the case. It wasn't. It's just not the case all the time. So like Manny Pacquiao, when the bottom falls out, the bottom falls out, and when the bottom falls out, buddy, you don't know when it's gonna happen. No matter how old, but no matter how dominant you may be at an old age. And excuse me real quick, I'm trying to clean my camera. I see something up there. Might not be noticeable to you, but it is noticeable to me. And we just want to make sure that we're looking clean and spiffy right here on the show. But even with, again, Manny Pacquiao, bottom fell out. We didn't know when, but it happened. And it happened against two guys. Bernard Hopkins, but won the championship at 46, won it again at 48. It seemed like, oh man, this cat is really beating Father Time. Then he got knocked out the ring by Sergey Kovalev. It completely, and it was like, oh, okay, yeah, no, he done. Because time finally kept, the Pied Piper came due. And it's just a fact of life. It's very hard to be able to sustain, once you hit 40 plus, the level of dominance that you would want. It's not easy. It ain't easy at all. Something might be possible, but it's going to take some kind of special situation. And because of that, this fight with Dion Nicholson is a good thing because it keeps Beterbiev consistently in the ring. Has something that he is actually doing in lieu of waiting for the opportunity to fight against Bivol. Having an actual position to make sure that all of his faculties, not just mentally, but physically, are indeed where they need to be so that when he is getting that fight, it does happen. But it still is a concerning thing. And on the side of Bivol, I'm more so confused on what the holdup is. I don't get it. I don't understand what the holdup is for this fight with Artur Beterbiev not happening. It doesn't make sense to me. It seems counterintuitive. It seems ridiculous. It seems nonsensical, if I'm being completely honest, because the whole reason why this fight was even happening in the first place was for Bivol to get the bag in the trilogy. That's what that's what it was for. There's no other situation as to why this fight wouldn't be what would be happening outside of getting the bag, and it's the most important fight right now that you can make. It's just the truth. More so the bag than anything, because again, Bivol versus Benavidez under Turkey Al-Sheikh wasn't getting funded, at least by him. And it seemed like, okay, it makes sense. Go and fight Beterbiev. He deserves a shot. But he went back. Part of it was because, yes, the trilogy, which I have no problem. Other part was because of money. Since we know that that is a factor, why would you not want to take that fight and make that fight sooner rather than later? To get the bag, the payday, and to put this trilogy to rest at your best and at his best, so you don't have to question anything about anything. And these consistent concerns of, are you trying to wait out one of your biggest ops? Are you trying to age out and wait until the decline of one of your biggest competitors? Are you trying to go through and make Beterbiev weaker to give you an easier time? Because while all that's happening, all that shows is that, hey, again, speculative, I understand, but hey, something's a little amiss. I don't like it. I don't like it. And I also don't like that we have also Artur Beterbiev getting the fight before you. Artur Beterbiev getting in the ring before you. Artur Beterbiev having an opportunity to consistently show up and show out before you. Why is that the case? Who are you going to defend the belt against now? Who? Because if this was a situation, but if you were going to do this, and we were going to see Artur Beterbiev get a fight before you, and you were supposed to fight Bivol, and you were supposed to fight Benavidez. You should have fought him in the first place. If we're seeing that Beterbiev and Bivol are getting a fight together, if we're seeing that Beterbiev and Nicholson are getting a fight together, and Bivol does not have a fight, though he was supposed to fight Beterbiev in a rematch, you should have just stayed to fight David Benavidez. You should have. That was the only reason we said, okay, that fight doesn't happen. Okay, fine, you're fighting Beterbiev. No issue. The rubber match in the trilogy that's been great both times. But now that you're not, and he's fighting somebody else, and you have nobody on your docket, and the person that was supposed to be on the docket, Benavidez, is fighting Anthony Yard. Why is he fighting Anthony Yard? Because he wasn't getting you, Bivol, as an op. Because it seemed like you were tied up with Beterbiev. You wasted 2 opportunities. You did. Now the fans are hurting because the fans could have had something they've been asking for. If this was the road that you were going to go down, if this is how you were going to capitulate yourself, it makes no sense. It has us asking more questions now about what the word you're going to do as Dimitri Bivol. Because I thought the belt should have been defended, or at least an announcement of who you're defending the belt against should have been made, at least officially for the public to see. And now it's a question of what's next. Really, what's next? When now 2 of the biggest competitors to your title, one is a champion because of you relinquishing the belt because you didn't fight him in Benavidez. Both of them are tied up. And both of them are big threats. And both of them you could have fought. And the fact that you didn't have us, it breeds some questions that I don't like asking. But it is concerning nonetheless that this is not a good look. I would say, at least for me, it's not a good look. And it looks like, quote unquote, the smart game to keep your belt without having to do anything. But at the same time, and again, speculative, I understand. Is it smart because you're trying to be, the cerebral assassin that we've seen you as inside the ring? Or is it smart because you don't want those tests to fight against? Is it smart so you can skirt around the ability to take on the real killers that are right on your heels? Both of them deserving of shots at what you got. Is it that type of smart? Because if it's that type of smart, then that isn't always good. Somewhat that shows that, hey, maybe there's a little bit of fear behind what you got going on. It might be just a little bit. And again, it's concerning, but it's more frustrating than anything. That's what it was. More than anything, it is incredibly frustrating. I don't like it. I can't stand it. But you know what? Hopefully, Lord knows, hopefully, things actively get sorted out and we actually see substance happen with this whole saga. And hopefully we see Bivol actually get a fight now that we've seen all of his other peers getting in the ring, and he hasn't went with him being champion and with them supposedly should have been already in a fight and in a title defending opportunity. And he just hasn't. And like now I'm confused at who he's going to fight. Would he fight Callum Smith? Hypothetically. Again, Beterbiev, Benavidez, Anthony Yard off the table. Joshua Brodsky lost his last fight. David Moreira won his fight, but shouldn't have won it. Is he gonna get ranked 10th? Just about 10th in the division? Well, Callum Smith beat Joshua Buatsi. But it was supposed to be Callum Smith versus the likes of potentially David Benavidez. But now we know that fight ain't happened. Does Callum Smith then deserve an automatic shot at the unified title? At that point, that'll be the only other name. But beyond that, it breeds some questions. That's the best thing I can say. It breeds some real questions in the light for Dimitri Bivol regarding what we have with him as a fighter going up against Beterbiev and Benavidez. Now that he has essentially found a way to skirt around both of them. Beterbiev is now active, fighting against Dion Nicholson, but at the same time, this was supposed to be Artur Beterbiev. And the fact that this is a fight that, again, he's taking to stay busy in terms of Beterbiev. And Bivol still has yet to have any opponent announced. When it was supposed to be that he is fighting the likes of Beterbiev for the title in a rematch, with that being the hyped up, grandiose affair we were all waiting to see. That was the only valid reason why he would go back on the understood stipulation of fighting Benavidez, who should have gotten a shot. It's like it's so frustrating. It is frustrating the way the words can't describe, and I hate it. My gosh, I do hate it. But like I said, we're gonna keep track of this. We're gonna make sure that we get Bivol a opponent. More than anything, it's gonna be important who he gets a fight against. Or if he just holds the belts and don't do anything. If he does that, that's another problem in and of itself. Again, being smart, but for what reason? Out of fear? Because potentially that's kind of what the way the circumstances have laid down. It's kind of looking like a little bit. Don't want to speculate like that, but I can't deny it nonetheless. But again, we still got more to cover on this show as we continue to switch gears, like with the talent of, well, we got two ways. Most of the time versus Dillian White, or Eubank versus Conor. Actually, you know what? Let's do the biggest thing, because I think let me make sure that I got the actual type. Oh, I don't. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, it didn't save. Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on. Okay, no, that ain't it. Hold on. Wait a minute. There we go. All right, yeah. We got it right now. Now we can switch gears properly. There we go. Chris Eubank versus Conor Benn 2 is, I believe, officially now going on in the rematch. Hold on. Oh gosh. Oh, what happened there? Oh, Lord. Oh, no. Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait a second. Is it working? Is it not? Not too big. Too small. Come on, get right. Don't do this to me now. Okay, yeah, there we go. Okay, that's good. But yeah, Chris Eubank versus Conor Benn 2 is seemingly officially underway. Yes, sir. We're here. It's happening. We're excited. We are live for this fight. Well, not we are live. Excuse me. But the fight's live, and it's happening. It's popping. And one of the greatest generational grudge matches that we've had in boxing history now comes to a head yet again in another highly anticipated fight of the ages between two distant rivals in Conor Benn and Chris Eubank Jr. Again, with Chris Eubank winning the first fight in what was indeed a barn burner of an event, now looks to run it back and retain victory yet again, and further put the score column in his family's favor in the record between him and the Benns. in their Gretchen. Let me see. Oh, we got people in the chat. Darvin Ham. Hey, brother. What's going on with you? How you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in to the show. You ruined the Lakers, by the way, but still, we're not going to miss you on the Bucks, so we're completely fine with that. But how you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in to the show. Let me see who you got in this fight. I got, in all honesty, I think I got Eubank again. I think I have Eubanks again. I really do. I think I have Chris Eubanks Jr. winning this fight again, and he can, because he was able. See that my biggest concern in this fight was which Eubanks we would see get into the ring. We've seen so many iterations of Chris Eubanks Jr. From one that is like, oh, this brother can't be a legit world beater, to all of a sudden getting knocked out by Smith, trying to fight like Roy Jones Jr. We did not know which Eubanks we were going to see in this fight, in the first fight. Now we do. Or at least now we seemingly have a consistent gauge of what type of Eubanks we're going to be in the ring with. And that Eubanks is a legitimate dangerous Eubanks. That Eubanks is a hard-hitting Eubanks. That Eubanks is a Eubanks that's on his toes and can grit it out with the best of them. As well as can be slick at times when he needs to, but also can lay the lumber. Really lay that lumber. I mean, really crack. And yes, Benn has the speed advantage, but at the same time, it wasn't nearly as useful in that fight with Eubanks as I thought it was going to be, more so because Eubanks nullified the speed that Benn was able to bring to the table. Though Benn, yes, was moving up in weight, I understand that. He is not naturally a 160-pounder. I get that completely. However, Butter fought incredible. Butter fought phenomenal. The brother, in terms of Eubanks, in terms of Benn, fought so well that now when he was in talks of going back down to 147, potentially 140, to fight against the likes of Shakur Stevenson, when they had a back and forth on the area of wanting, everybody was like, hey, Shakur, you better watch out now. Hey, this ain't one of them other people. This ain't the normal aspect of talent that you be facing up against. This brother can really give it to you. He can really put a hurt on you. That's what that performance against Eubanks did for Ben. It made it so that, hey, coming down, this brother, even off of PEDs, still got something in the tank that can potentially do some real work. But against Eubanks specifically, and again, it's early. We understand. We got what, 4 months. We're going to be delving into the fight more often. We're going to be breaking down the fight a lot more. We're going to be dissecting the nature of what this fight's going to take, or going to entail, and who exactly can get the advantage. We will. You understand that? But for right now, it's very tough for me to see what Benn's going to be able to do to be better in this fight, though I know he can. The best thing would be for him to get more pop in his punches because of the relentless pressure he's trying to put on Eubanks. With Eubanks being able to counter Benn a lot, it would help if he had some pop that could make Eubank really have to struggle. Now he did rock Eubank. He did. I'm not saying he did. He did. But at the same time, if it was even more damaging, if it was even more what's the word? If it was even more of a studying type of nature in his punches, he could actually put him down instead of just rocking him and making him hurt. That would be a major push for me in terms of the game plan for what Eubanks to help the game plan of what Eubanks could be in this fight. Excuse me, of what Benn could be in this fight. Let me hold on. Let me take a pause real quick. Let me drink some water. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Let me get something to drink real quick before I go and continue. I'm not about to dehydrate myself. I need to think clear. I need to be on my P's and Q's with this. I can't be looking like a fool talking with you. Well, I got to be on the up and up when it comes to when it comes to this fight. And so, but what was it? As I was saying, that would help immensely, at least for me, for being able to see Eubanks and Ben having Ben potentially come out on top this time. It would. And if it, and maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. Who knows? I don't think he's gonna have more pop. But also, the skull of Eubank and the ability to take punishment. He got a chin on him. He can take what you dish out. He really can. And respond in kind with, at least against Conor Benn, even more damaging shots. So it's a good fight. It's a great fight. It's going to be another Fight of the Year contender. I can promise you that. I can promise you that. I can guarantee you that. No question in my mind about that. It's just going to be, when it comes to Conor Benn, he's the one that's got the uphill climb in this battle. Not saying he can't overcome it, but it's going to be a mighty hard hill to climb. But I can't wait for it. I honestly can't. It's going to sell out again. Shoot, if anybody's over in the UK and you can watch that fight, hey, brother, send me over there. get me in there. I love that. I would love to see that fight. No question about it. And also, when it comes to, there's one more thing. Oh, I remember now. When it comes to Conor Benn and Eubank, more so on the Conor Benn side, with the notion, with the look, the feel of having Conor Benn going about and be potentially a smaller fighter at middleweight, but a pretty competitive fighter at the lower weight class. With us talking about him in his spat with against Shakur, how much of a threat could he be if he did go down after this fight to 154, 147, or 140? Most likely, or more likely than not than anything, 154 would be the weight class that it would bump down to first. Unless he just feels, yeah, let's go for welterweight. That's my prime weight, if that's what he feels in his mind. But 154 most likely going to be the most likelihood situation that we see Conor Benn come back down to after this fight with Chris Eubank Jr. Now, since that's the case, we have to look and say, hey, but at 154, there's killers everywhere. It's monstrous. It's dangerous. It's lethal. It's vile. It's wicked. It is filled to the brim with sharks abounding in the water. Abounding. Virgil Ortiz, Bo Woodchuck, Sebastian Fundora, shoot, even Keith Thurman making a comeback in this fight. You got the situation of Boots, and it's now has officially relinquished the belts it's speculated to getting ready to relinquish the belts at 147, fully move up to 154 and fight to dominate and go after undisputed there. Since that's the case, it's great. We love it. Absolutely. Hold to your word and do what you said you were going to do, which was try to reign and go and dominate at the higher weight class. Do it. Absolutely. But now also, that's what Conor Benn would have to face off against. And a whole host of other names that I haven't even named, like Virgil Ortiz. If he does go down to that division, I promise you, it's going to be a nightmare. Now, he walks a murderer's row. As in, that's how that's the bravado that Conor Benn has always acclimated to himself. I will fight anybody and everybody. I will go through and take on the test necessary to prove how great I am. I ain't got no issue with it. Now, again, the drugs, whole other situation. A whole, and I do mean a whole other problem entirely, because that's problematic. Definitely. No question about that. However, past is the past. We hope that it doesn't happen again, but even still it might. But in light of him at this point in time being clean, potentially won't be an issue. But will the same problems at 160 follow him at 140, at 154? Him not having as much pop, him potentially being outmatched physically against people without the ability to have the requisite tools to fight back in the same fashion, the power, like he was when he was on the drugs, which since he got him off, or since he got off of him, hasn't had the same pop at those lower weight classes. Now again, yes, he did rock Eubank Jr., incredibly impressive, but we also want to see some consistency with that power if it is indeed real or not. And at 154, regardless of this result at 160 with Eubanks, it's going to be a real test to climb. It's going to be a real problematic entity of a division. And if he does go down that road, it's going to be tough. 147 might not be as deep, but still at the top, it's killers abounding. Garcia, T.O., Brian Norman Jr., Devin Haney, though his stock has again dropped dramatically, absolutely. Then he even goes back down to 140. It's, again, Shakur, Abdullah, Schofield. Tank still there, though we don't know what the Warriors are going to do. But you got a murderer's row all across these divisions. It don't get no easier if he does choose to move down. It's just going to be interesting how he goes and tries to adapt. Really, it's going to be interesting. But still, we got more to talk about on this show, and I think we can start going into the championship rounds real quick. Again, this is a shorter show, I understand. Like I said, it's Wednesday, not Tuesday. We had to go and take care of some stuff earlier in the week, so we weren't able to do a show on Tuesday. That's why we're here on Wednesday. But also, like I said, it's been kind of ebb and flow a little bit with the meat of the news today, at least in the boxing world. Not as fervent as it normally has been for the past, year and a half, which is insane. It's hard to believe that this is one of the more, and I don't use this word lightly, but this is one of the more dull runs of boxing happenings that we've had in a long time. I mean, it's crazy to say. A consistent thing of something big happening, getting announced, fight outcome or potential matchups. It's been boom, 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 one after the other for a minute, a hot minute. It's crazy. It really is. But to have this as a quote-unquote lull and for it to be this rare, hey, it's good. Really good for the sport. Thankfully, we're going in the right direction. And hopefully, we continue. Because, my gosh, I don't want to go back. My goodness, I do not want to go back to the dark ages of boxing. Great day. I don't know. But again, real quick, I guess we can start with it right now with the championship round. So, hey, we can start with it. Everything I'm covering on my show is done. Whatever you want to talk about on your time, you can do it right now. 30 minutes to an hour, maybe like 15 minutes. We can go through and talk about whatever you want to discuss on the show today. Whether it's basketball, boxing, sports, football season coming up, NFL, it's getting ready to happen. Shedeur Sanders getting to start against the Carolina Panthers in the first preseason game on, I believe it's Friday, on Friday. And so we're going to be able to see what he's going to be able to do in some live action. There's some movers and shakers in the world in the NFL with other rotational moves and strings and all that stuff. Also, we have the likes of, with the NBA coming down the line, news with Luka, news with Dame going back to Portland, news with, I believe a couple of signings over the course of the offseason. And, hey, starting to pick back up with the inkling of, well, we don't want to always talk about LeBron. LeBron potentially retiring in the next year or two. Hypothetically, there's a lot of drama. There's a lot of uncertainty right now going on in the sports world, which, hey, it just breeds a level of drama. So whatever you want to discuss and talk about, or even beyond that, whether it's movies, sports, TV, and all that stuff, video games, I can talk about it right here on this show. And, I almost forgot. Shameless plug, but because we're waiting on monetization, if you can support the show, Cash App and PayPal links in the description down below. If you choose to go through and help out this channel, again, with that, whatever you can give, it means the world to us, and invest back into the show, going through and having situations of making lights, background, all that stuff, help make the show better for you all, because that's what you all deserve, no question about it. And so, without further ado, we're in the championship rounds, so I want to hear what you got to say, and while you're getting this stuff together, I will make, I'll make some time. I'll talk. Oh, we got people in the chat right now. Let me see. Also, this is since this is the championship round, I was the Lakers' best coach since 2021. Well, let me tell you something right now, brother. Hey, no, I ain't clapping for that. No, you a bold-faced lie, and I respect the mess out of you. I'm glad that you're here, but you bold-faced lie, brother. You got okay. Hey, Darvin got to the Western Conference Finals. Yes, you did. I have no issue with it. You got to the Western Conference Finals. You got to do playoffs every year. Cool. And when I say us, full disclaimer, I'm a Spurs fan, but I also enjoy LeBron. Hey, sue me. I don't care. But I'm fair. We got to the Western Conference Finals. We got through the play-in. I believe it was no, that wasn't against the Warriors. Might have been against the Warriors. Was it against the Warriors? I can't remember. All that stuff that we did under Darvin Ham, we did in spite of Darvin Ham, not with Darvin Ham. Let's be clear. Let's be clear about that. Your rotations were terrible. Your legitimate personnel moves were horrible. You waited too long to give some real shine in this whole scheme. You kept playing small ball when we didn't need to play small ball. You kept scheming in a way that was nonsensical, and you couldn't make any adaptations as a head coach. None whatsoever. It was horrid. Absolutely horrid that this buddy was making an offense that was so stagnant, so decrepit, so tied down that it was ruining everybody. It was ruining everybody. In spite of what Darvin Ham could not do, the Lakers still was able to make some big noise. Absolutely. If we had any other coach, and I do mean any other coach, outside of Darvin Ham with the personnel that we had, we could have gotten not just they could have gotten not just the Western Conference Finals. They could have gotten to the finals. Yes, they could have. You may sound like I'm crazy, but brother, hey, I had said when y'all got to the Western Conference Finals, this is a finals level team that the Lakers had at that point in time. They just ain't got a coach that can do anything with them. But you get somebody that actually understands how to put an offense together that is conducive to the strengths of the team that you have, not playing small for the sake of playing small, actually going big, using length, playing fast off defense and getting steals and turnovers, and giving people that deserve more shine, again, like we had more earlier when he was on the roster. Austin Reeves was already showing up, absolutely, but you still could give him some more up. Getting rid of D'Lo, good gosh, that should happen sooner. Keeping and using Lonnie Walker in a better light, who could have done more than outside of just that 17-point game that he had in the playoffs that helped push the Lakers through to the next round. He could have been doing it all season long, but you never started him. And he showed some real grit and great spirit going when he was over in San Antonio. Oh, it's bad. I can go down the list of the amount of stuff that I've seen with Darvin Ham that was just mind-bogglingly stupid. Continuing to trust Russell Westbrook, knowing good and well he was hurting your team. Continuing to not operate with AD in the highest of his regards. Or even better, when he was hitting the zenith of his powers in LA under Darvin Ham, not going through and actively making the offense work well around that, outside of AD being the saving grace, him and LeBron, if all else fails. As in, that is the plan. There was no singular thing that Darvin Ham was able to do to make this team actually be conducive be beloved, and like playing for this organization. Mr. Hands in his pockets did nothing but sit there and rock on the sideline. They weren't even listening to the brother. They were listening to LeBron. Darvin didn't even have to ear the locker room. People didn't care for Darvin. I guarantee you, if we had an opportunity to ask people about Darvin Ham that was on that LA squad, they would be saying the same thing. This brother is a bum. With all due respect. It's a bum as a coach. Again, doing this thing of feeding into the relationship that he had with Taurean Prince. Consistently getting minutes over other players on the Lakers. I went to Milwaukee. Because Taurean Prince also went to Milwaukee. And now Taurean Prince is getting legitimate minutes. Which can be Tayshaun Prince. I'm sorry. We'll see what's happening with the Bucks right now. Him and Doc Rivers. Oh Lord. A match made in the deepest of my nightmares. when it comes to coaching. So I'm like, my gosh. Shoot. Dang. Talk about a level of just uncertainty. It's just uncertainty all around. And, well, rather, it's not uncertain anymore. Because we know what I've been saying for 2 years. This brother was not good. This brother was not good at all. If J.J. Redick had that roster back then, leagues better. Lakers would have been leagues better. Leagues better. We ain't going to play no revenge. Again, with all due respect, Darvin Ham, we ain't playing revisionist history. That was a bad stint in the life of Lakers fans. Even people that didn't like the Lakers. It was bad. Because they were always on TV. It was bad. It was really, really bad. Oh, it was bad. Dark ages. Thank God they're gone. Thank goodness for that. Oh, boy. Oh, I almost forgot. Talking about why won the championship round still, as you get more questions together, Dillian White versus Moses Italma. I did want to discuss that on this show. Now, mind you, we're probably going to talk about it more on Thursday. You'll probably have some more, even more discourse with it on Friday. But Dillian White versus Moses Italma, back to the boxing world, is a fight that is a real make or break situation for the world of the heavyweight division. It is. This is going to be a very important fight for the entirety of this division, beyond just the immediate career of Italma. Because the last time we had a great heavyweight prospect go up against somebody that had been to that mountaintop or around that mountaintop of being a champion before, they fell flat on their face, i.e., Jared Anderson, who went and got slumped over by Martin Bakole. And even before that, almost got knocked out by Charles Martin a couple of years ago, before the fight with Martin Bakole. Couldn't adapt to that straight left that he was throwing all night long. And if Martin had really amped up that length and really amped up his aggression, brother would have gone through and actually knocked him out. He would have. He absolutely would have. It's just the fact that he was not as good as we thought. And boom, the prospect for the next era in heavyweight boxing just kind of fell flat. Now, we're back to a hopeful situation. We're back to more than just Fabio Wardley, more than just Justice Huni, who again, though he got knocked out, is a great young talent. All of this is important because if Moses Italma can actually be successful against 31-3 Dillian White, who's been around, who's fought the likes of Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, and a bunch of other great heavyweights of the last era, he gets over this hump. We have an actual leader. Now we got somebody we can have faith in, substance in, for what they can do for the heavyweight division going forward. This is bigger than just Moses Italma's career. This is a hope for the heavyweight division as a whole going forward. And if this works out right and he wins this, get ready. Get ready for the floodgates of heavyweight boxing to potentially come back. Or at least to into an even better standpoint than it is right now, which again, with Usyk reigning is great, but it can, dare I say, get better with the plethora of talent with one young cat leading the young guard in the top. That happens, oh, it can be entertaining, no question about it. Let me see. Al Booger, hey, good to see you. How you doing? Thanks for the show. Glad to see you. Well, I'm here. Like I said, we couldn't do it on Tuesday. Told y'all we were gonna do it on Wednesday. Now we're here on Wednesday, and then we're gonna do it Thursday and Friday. So we still got multiple shows we're gonna do this week. We already called the championship round. It was a kind of a slow week this week, news-wise, and so we don't have as much to cover. But we're still gonna give y'all the best show possible. We are winding out in the championship rounds right now, but be back tomorrow because it'll probably be more robust, most likely, with our normal schedule that we have. Annabella, keep on reading. Yo, Bobby, what's good with you? How you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for hearing the show. So glad you're here. What's the next big fight on tap? So we got a couple. We got the biggest of which, Canelo and Crawford, happening on September 13th. I believe it's September 13th. So Canelo and Crawford happening in September. We got Moses and Talma, Dillian White happening in next week, I believe. We also got, before I even go through, let me pull up the actual fight schedule so we can give you a full dissecting look at some of the biggest fights of the year. Also, don't forget, you got Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul potentially happening later this year. Hypothetically, that could happen in December if everything gets agreed upon and goes through. So hey, you got, if you're into that, you got that to look forward to. You got, and don't forget, November 22nd, David Beterbiev versus Anthony Yard in a fight that's going to be essentially another number one contender opportunity. Winner of that, it's a title fight. That's a title fight. The David Beterbiev defending his title against Anthony Yard. Winner of that not just becomes champion, but then gets a most likely guaranteed shot to fight against the winner of Bivol versus Beterbiev. If that fight ever does happen, which again we questioned earlier, is Bivol trying to age out the likes of Artur Beterbiev, who again is a knockout savant, but is also 40 years old. Is he trying to make it so that by the time he does fight Bivol, now he is past his actual prime, which has lasted so long, which is insane to say. But if the bottom falls out for Artur Beterbiev beforehand, though he is now active in fighting Dion Nicholson, and it's ironic that he's got to fight before Bivol's got to fight. This still might be the long game that Bivol may be playing to get Artur Beterbiev an easier out for him by the time their big match comes into play. So like I said before, the big fight, September 13th, Canelo versus Crawford. November 22nd, David Beterbiev versus Anthony Yard. Also, Devin Haney versus Brian Norman Jr. In fact, that November 22nd card is probably going to be the most stacked card out of the night, more than anything else. If we're going to be honest, that's probably going to be the most stacked card out of all the fights that's going to happen. With the boxing calendar this year. David Beterbiev versus Anthony Yard for the light heavyweight title. Ben Rodriguez versus Daniel Martinez for, again, the junior bantamweight title. Good gosh. Dang. I still can't believe it, but I agreed to that right after agreeing to the Kafu fight. Then Abdullah Mason is trying to get Sam Noakes for the WBO title at lightweight. Then Brian Norman Jr. fighting against Devin Haney for the welterweight title. And then Sabrina Matias versus Dalton Smith for the junior welterweight title. So it's a plethora. That's probably going to be the most exciting card of the year, most likely, with all the big names that are happening on the same time at the same day. Oh, and also, September 24th, the day after, Crawford and Canelo, but Inoue's back to play. Inoue's back to fight. The monster's coming back, and he's fighting against MJ, Morjan Akhmadali, and he's fighting for the undisputed super bantamweight title. If he wins that, then we get again, one step closer to the likes of Inoue versus Junto Nakatani. Now, also, and again, we're going to touch on this tomorrow, but also don't forget the likes of Inoue and Junto. Now we're starting to heat up because reportedly, and again, I know I keep saying this, I keep thinking it's going to happen next. Don't happen. Going to happen next. Don't happen. Understand? We'll change the timeline still for that to happen. Right now, it was Cardenas, MJ, and then Junto Nakatani next year. That's the timeline concretely right now. MJ, he's fighting in September. Ahmed Ali, he's fighting in September anyway. If he beats him, then afterwards, potentially that's when we will get Junto Nakatani. I say that because reportedly, Junto's getting ready, genuinely this time, to give up his belts at 118 and actually commit to going up to 122. Reportedly, how true is it? Don't know. Speculatively, it could be true. But it was like 3 different people saying the same thing. So, take it with a grain of salt, but also get excited. Because if this does indeed happen, the targeted date for what happens with Inoue versus Junto might just be May of next year. And it can genuinely happen. And so we get amped up for it, no question about it. But I'm telling you, this stuff is heating up. It's heating up right here in the boxing world. But let me keep on reading what you all got to say. Let me see. Unbiased Brim. Hey, brother. How you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in to the show. Again, we are in the championship rounds. We are at the tail end of this show. It is a shorter show than normal. I understand the news isn't really as packed. Also, it's an awkward day because I wasn't able to come here on Tuesday as I put on a community post yesterday. However, now we're still going to do 3 shows: Thursday, Friday, today, Thursday, and Friday. So hopefully it'll be more action-packed. And with again, the normal schedule, we'll bring the more people. And with the more people, we're making it better. It's already a great show. Shoot, if none of y'all were here, we're still going to rock and make a great show. But with y'all here, it makes it even better. Absolutely. Because I do this for you all. Because again, y'all are the energy. You're the fire. You are the forever. I am simply the mere spark that loves to go through and cause a wildfire throughout all of the media globe, with excitement and energy, fervor and happiness, joy, and outright enthusiasm. No question, but let me keep on reading what you all got to say. Let me see. Unbiased Women, hello. Bivol wanted to play the long game after 2 grueling fights. Yeah, see. Hey. I told y'all. He's trying to play the and I don't like throwing around that people are trying to avoid cop. But if it's true, it's true. And let me see, I'm not all that. I'm not at all. Hold on. Excuse me. I'm not at all that Bivol curved the rematch person. Oh, okay, so you're saying that you don't think he curved the rematch. How do we see this? My only question is, if you didn't take the Beterbiev, if you didn't take the Beterbiev fight that was supposed to happen, we were all excited to happen, and you gave up that belt to fight Artur Beterbiev, yet still that fight didn't happen. I don't understand how that can be seen as you trying to skate away from it. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, I'm not, okay, my bad. I read it wrong. I'm not mad that the Bivol rematch, that Bivol curved the rematch. Okay, I understand. Well, see, here's the thing. I am. I'm going to be honest. I am. You may not. Perfectly fine. I am. You know what? Because it is a concern because if you weren't going to fight Bivol, or excuse me, if you weren't going to fight Artur Beterbiev, why did you not just take the fight with Benavidez in the first place? Why? It makes no sense. Why? Why in the world did you just not take the fight in the first place? If you knew you didn't want that struggle and you still wanted a payday, Though Turkey said he didn't want the fight, he didn't want to put on the fight with Beterbiev. He wanted to fight with Beterbiev, seemingly because of both the money and because there was an actual score to settle. You took the fight with Artur Beterbiev. Now you don't even take that fight at this point when you already gave up a belt for it. The sacrifice meant nothing. And you're still trying to seemingly playing a game that just waits him out. It's so frustrating. I hate it. I hate it. Because I want Benavidez to get his shine. That's my whole concern more than anything. I want Benavidez to get his shine and do what he's supposed to do or get what he deserves. Rather than you playing a game that, okay, we're not mad if you make this move because of who is going up against. However, you don't even make that move in fighting Beterbiev, and he's got to fight with a 34-year-old, 22-1, 18 knockout brother, and Bivol still ain't even gotten the ring yet. How is Artur Beterbiev getting ready for a fight before the champ? How? God, it makes no sense. It is so frustrating. It makes no sense to me. I can't stand it. Oh my gosh. I can't stand it. 3-belt unification for Bam. Yeah, that's happening later on in the year on that same card. And again, he called his shot. Mind you, he agreed to that fight before the fight with Kafu. Understand that. He agreed to fight on the card for the title under the Benavidez Yard umbrella before even beating Kafu. But that's the same level of confidence. That's ridiculous. I'm saying Nakatani versus anyway, May next year. Yep, absolutely that. I am so excited for that fight. It's going to. I hope and pray that it happens because that's going to be incredible. Bivol occurred to rematch Beterbiev fighting Nicholson. Yeah, I know. It's like Beterbiev doesn't have time for this, and he deserves better than this. That's the thing. He deserves better than this, and he doesn't have time for this. Let me see. Deborah and or Justin, who again now I know who's behind the keyboard. What's good with you? How you doing? Leave a like on the stream if you're here. Keep on subscribing if you haven't already. Keep on sharing the show. We appreciate you coming through right here on this show. Let me see. So Bivol pulled out at this point. Yes, it wasn't even pulled out. He said he went back to fight Beterbiev. Beterbiev was like, okay, let's go. But nothing happened afterwards with talks. Beterbiev called out Bivol and said, hey, why are you waiting so long to give me the opportunity to take the fight that you said you wanted to take? How old do I have to be? And at this point right now, Bivol has still been dead silent. Beterbiev's fighting Dion Nicholson. 22-1, 18 KOs, 34 years old. Just got a knockout in 4 rounds on the undercard of Deontay Wilder's last fight against Herndon. So again, competitive brother. I still think Artur Beterbiev was going to knock him out, but competitive brother nonetheless. And so at this point in time, it's looking like Bivol is the one that is dipping away from the challenge of Beterbiev, though he didn't. The whole reason why he didn't fight David Benavidez was because he said he wanted to fight Beterbiev. Bivol put out a whole statement and everything, saying like, we got unfinished business. Okay, fine. Where's the business you need to finish? Because apparently, apparently that was a lie. Apparently that was a lie. Wait, Benavidez first went to Saudi, then said, I'm a Vegas fighter. Benavidez already cut the line. Well, see, no. Benavidez went through and met with Turki Al-Sheikh, absolutely. He still loves and wants to fight in Vegas, no question. However, earning a shot in line, he has done that. He has become the 3rd best light heavyweight in the world, at least at minimum, in most people's eyes, most pundits and experts' eyes. He's gone through and has beaten former champion Kavasti, beat David Morrell cleanly for 12 rounds, then went through and is now fighting Anthony Yard. If he beats Anthony Yard, who is the only other, I don't want to say the only other, is still one of the most dangerous competitors, as rudimentary or not rudimentary, as much as his skill sets may have stifled due to no real great improvement. Even baseline, he's still one of the most dangerous light heavyweights in the world. He beats him. I can't say he cut himself in line. And on top of that, he already is a champion. Because remember, when he beat David Morrell, he became the mandatory champion, I believe, for the WBA title. When he beat David Morrell. When Bivol did not give him his deserved shot after the WBA actually activated, again, WBA, not the fighter, the WBA, activated the mandatory to make Beterbiev the actual number one contender. And Bivol said he's not going to take the fight. Bivol had to relinquish the belt. Hence, what happened? Beterbiev became a full-blown champion. Which, great, phenomenal, we love it. And so now that that's the case, Beterbiev is a full-blown champion. He has a full title. One of the 4 belts he has, definitively. Now that he does, he's defending it against Anthony Yarde. Great. First title defense. If he beats Anthony Yarde, there is a full-blown understanding. Okay, I've beaten Gvozdyk, Morrell, Yarde. I should be in line for the undisputed title. I should be. Just like after Dubois beat AJ for the title, Dubois got a title shot for the undisputed championship next. Same thing should happen with Bivol, or it should happen with Bivol versus Beterbiev. It was going to happen initially. But Bivol went away to fight Beterbiev. Now Bivol's not even fighting Beterbiev. So it's like, hey, brother, it's looking real bad on the side of Beterbiev because Beterbiev is right on his heels. Beterbiev is still there ready to seek and destroy. And Bivol now, he's been through wars, no question about it. They have as well. But I'm not negating the damage. But I'm also not going to forget what you said you wanted to do in a letter to the public. We're not going to forget that. And now you don't do it. You should get called out for it. Just like with Fury, Canelo, Tank, Charlo, and whatever other great champion that we want to talk about that we've called out on this show, the same thing applies. You better keep to your word of what you said you wanted to do, or else you're going to look like a hypocrite. That's what's going on right now. And that's what looks like going on. Listen, who does David Benny have next? He has a fight lined up. Yeah, David Beterbiev is fighting Anthony Yarde to defend his title on November 22nd in the headline with Brian Norman Jr. versus Devin Haney as the co-main event. That's what's going on later on in the year. Yep, Beterbiev fighting Anthony Yarde. Yep. Still going to drop him out. Let me see. OG Blake, good God. Hey, buddy, y'all coming in. Hey. Y'all coming. Wait, hold on. Oh, wait a minute. Y'all coming in late. Wait a second. I was ready to wrap this show up. Y'all coming in late and starting a whole new doggone show. Don't forget, we had to start. We doing the show today because we couldn't do it yesterday. I do apologize. I sent out a blast and everything. But my goodness, I was getting ready to wrap this show up. Next thing you know, everybody's all of a sudden coming through. Great day, where y'all been? I'm playing. I'm just messing. I love it. I love it all. And I'm glad that y'all are here. No question about it. Let me see. OG Blaze, how you doing? Good to see you. Bivol on vacation right now. It's looking like it. It's looking like he just skipping town. Yo, Kingdom Boxing, how you doing? Thanks for being to the show. So glad you're here with us on today. Good to catch you live, Welch. Hey, man, it's good to see you coming through and spend some time with us on today. We're happy. We're excited. I'm telling you, it was like I said, today was a very slow day, or rather a starting week of news. I will capitulate to it. So I'm still doing my thing, but I ain't gonna lie, I'm glad y'all are here. Cause I can't lie. I'm glad y'all showed up. Cause I made the best of what I could. With today's topic, it's not a whole bunch going on right now. At least in the world of boxing specifically, but hey, we still gonna make it work. We still gonna make it shine, and y'all are definitely helping me out. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie. Let me see. Let me keep on reading. WBC cut the line by activating when they were third in line. There's an argument, but it's like, I mean, we've seen, like I said, belt commissions. It's a full blown drama-filled situation with how they operate, what they do, when they do and when they don't actually hold standards and whatnot. We've covered this before. It's a whole problematic issue. I completely understand that. It's part of the corruption in the world of boxing. Sadly, I just cannot stand. And so hopefully we get that fixed on the red lane. But let me see, Mike Huncho, Huncho, hey brother. How you doing? Appreciate you joining in. Glad that you're with us on today. Again, it is the tail end of the show. I will capitulate. It's the tail end of the show. Y'all came in at the back half. It's still the championship rounds. Hey, we'll still do the thing. It's still the championship rounds. We still got 15, 30 minutes or shoot, however long y'all drive the conversation. And we're going to be back on Thursday and on Friday. Like our normal schedule, we just couldn't get to it on Tuesday because I had some stuff I had to do, like I put out on the bulletin. But I'm glad you're here. So glad you're coming through. Let me see, but Bivol deserves heat for stalling Bivol trilogy. Yes, that's the whole thing. It's not, more than anything, regardless of belts, regardless of all that, if you say publicly you want this, and then you don't go about doing this, now you forego another deserved opportunity to take this test in Beterbiev by not fighting David Beterbiev. And that was the only reason why we were okay, or why I was okay. I won't say we, why I was okay with the fight with Bivol and Beterbiev not happening was because he was going to do the trilogy with Artur Beterbiev before Artur Beterbiev got too old to have the same competitive firm. That was the only reason why I was happy. But if you're not going to do that, now it's a spit in the face. It's a spit in the face. Because you lied or seem like you're lying about really wanting this work. Artur Beterbiev should not have to fight anybody else but Bivol before he makes another move. He shouldn't. Artur Beterbiev should not have to stay busy to fight Bivol, because that fight should already be in the works happening. Artur Beterbiev should not be in any way, shape, or form taking a quote-unquote tune-up fight or a stay busy fight in light of waiting to fight against Bivol. Because this time, it wasn't Beterbiev going out of his way to fight Bivol. It was the complete opposite. Bivol went out of his way. Bivol made the path to fight me. Again, me speaking as Beterbiev. Bivol made the path to fight me. But now he's walking away from the very door that he opened, that he said he wanted to open, that he actively went about opening. It's nonsensical. It's nonsensical. Let me see. I put a few comments above as a potential topic of discussion. Hold on. What you put? Hold on. Wait a minute. What's it? Huh? What's it? YouTube drama with black content creators putting up. Hey, look at this. We got some problems here. We got some problems here. Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait a second. Wait a second. Hold on. Wait. I thought we had covered Richard Conte and the standing last week. Something new's happening? What? Okay, hold on. Back up. Can somebody explain this to me? If I'm out of the loop, I do apologize. I'm confused now. What exactly is, are they trying to say that Bud is on PEDs? Like are people trying to propagate? Or do they have evidence that Bud Crawford is actually on drugs? Or he's been on drugs in the past? Or are they trying to, because he's attached to Victor Conte, go through and make stuff up about Bud because of the sketchiness of Victor Conte, which is well and good understood. and well and good is deserved. But at the same time, Bud has not ever popped in any way, shape, or form, nor has shown any signs that he might be on something. To my recollection, I'm very confused as to why they would be trying to prop this up as a legitimate cause for concern beyond just, hey, I hope everything's clean on the night of the fight. Are they trying to make something out of this? Because they shouldn't be. And we're being, and again, maybe I'm just not maybe I'm just out the loop. This doesn't feel like something that should be drama. It doesn't. Not because it's not an important topic, but because this is more so based. This ain't a Jarrell Miller situation where the brothers done popped 3 times for every drug under the sun. And it's like, hey, brother, what are you really? This ain't like that. This ain't even like a Canelo situation with the whole tainted meat or whatever the case may be. This ain't a Conor Benn 20,000 eggs or however many stuff he was eating that caused him to pop before when he was on drugs, actively on drugs. This isn't like that. This all seems to be, he can't be what he is because of XYZ something. It seems innocuous. It seems ridiculous. It seems both gratuitous and outright belligerent in the worst way. It's reckless for no means as to just spark, this conspiracy. Y'all know how I feel about conspiracy. The substance backing the claims don't seem to match up with the evidence that's been given of everything going on with Terrence Crawford. Is it that hard to believe that somebody who can deadlift 600, somebody who was able to, as we showed a clip on this very show, wrestle Jarrell Miller to the wall, with Jarrell trying to fight back at 300 plus pounds, who's been touted as one of the strongest boxers in the world by multiple people from multiple weight classes, and one of the strongest people in the boxing world. I don't get why all of a sudden it seems so impossible that, this man can't really be what he really is. Yes, the concern with Snack, I get it. Yes, the concern with all the stuff involving contact, I get it, as we discussed before, but that doesn't change at all the reality of the current situation at hand with the evidence provided. Everything seems clean. I may not trust Victor at all, but I trust the fighter. And if I was going to trust anybody, I'd trust Bud because of how he's gone about his entire career, even before teaming up with Victor. Being a legitimate animal in the gym and just a different breed of physical person. Be aware and be concerned. Skepticism is not always bad. Be skeptical of what Victor Conte does, Snack and all that. Absolutely. But also, he hasn't popped for anything. I can't say anything because he ain't popped for nothing. That's the struggle. I would love evidence to say, yes, this happened. So we can say, hey, this is bad. At this point in time, I don't want to put stuff on people without the actual evidence to back, hey, this is a problem. And doing that, again, goes into you being belligerently reckless with your claims that hurt more than help without the requisite backing of info to make what you say valid. It is a preposterous sentiment that only breeds a level of discontent and outright and just out chaos. It makes chaos. Because now everything, because once you start saying stuff like that without anything, all of a sudden everything starts to tie in when it shouldn't. Dots start getting connected that have no connection at all. I know because I've seen this before. I've talked with people that do this. Well, all of a sudden, one conspiracy led to a whole diatribe of a Charlotte's Web that wasn't in any way actually connected. But because they wanted to believe the thing, it made sense. And this ain't about me trying to protect a favorite fighter or not. We unbiased on this show. I love who I love in the boxing world, no question about it. But that don't mean I try to keep it as much of a bean as can be. Cause that's what y'all deserve. Hopefully y'all find it entertaining. But like, that's why I don't do that. Cause if I ain't got the evidence to say something, I can be as skeptical as I need to be and say, hey, there's a red flag here. Something may not be right. But I can't say something for certain because nobody's popped. Nobody popped for anything. He ain't popped for 20 odd years. Or however long he's been in the sport. To my recollection. So I'm like, it's drama that is actually incredibly harmful. If it's without substance, because now it just becomes conspiracy that people will buy into, either because they hate the fighter, either because they just want chaos, or either because they don't want to believe that somebody is what they actually are. And that's problematic. That is incredibly problematic. It's incredibly problematic. And it's just it's a slippery slope. A very slippery slope that I try not to delve into because it can be really, really bad. But let me keep on reading. Agree again, he deserves some heat for ducking the trilogy. Doesn't bother me though. I hate when the division gets held up. Yes, you ain't lying. Brother, it should be a cavalcade of a murderer's row between Bivol, Beterbiev, and Benavidez all fighting each other within the span of 3 years. That can actively happen. Y'all do understand that timeline of events can happen within the next 2 years if nothing got held up. Bivol, Beterbiev trilogy, Bivol, Benavidez, or Beterbiev, Benavidez. And then winner of that faces off against the loser of the last trilogy, and then boom, the cycle just continues. Then Callum Smith, then Buatsi if he makes his ranks up, and with Anthony Yard again thrown in there, he was going to end up there at some point in time, but still, the carousel will keep on turning for the better, and everybody would enjoy the ride. It's just it's insane. Like couple boxing fight weeks. Until Canoa, but yeah, it's really starting to feel like it. I can't lie, it's starting to feel like y'all ever been in like a hurricane, or you ever been around a hurricane or like a really bad storm, and there's like an awkward calmness before the real mess of stuff starts swirling around, with the eye of like you're in the eye of the storm, and all of a sudden stuff starts passing, everything seems all hunky dory, and then boom. Now the real brunt of it, that first initial layer on the side of that eye of the storm, it hits, and it hits like a ton of bricks. That's what this feels like. An awkward, from every beat that we've seen in boxing for the past couple of weeks, months, for the past year, if I'm being completely honest, it's been awkwardly silent or awkwardly slowed down. But brother, once that fight with Crawford and Canelo happens, great day. It's going to be nothing but action. It's going to be I can't wait for it. Let me see. But if we think about it, it was Bob that always threw cold water on the fight. Also, WBC did Bivol agrees for years. Just said, yeah. Both those statements are true. Truth be told, Bivol deserves a light touch before another big fight. And you know what? I would be fine with that if Bivol got the tune-up first. My issue, even more than just Beterbiev needing to have a tune-up because he's waiting so long for the fight to get announced. Or for Bivol to do his end of the deal and actually sign the thing. It's more frustrating that Beterbiev got a fight in preparation to stay busy before Bivol. That's my concern. If you want an easy test, okay. You had two great fights. Every fight doesn't need to be a war. I get it, but activity is still relevant. Take on a very much less competitive forever. Yes, we know there's going to be a certain level that you're going to have to fight against because, again, you are champion. But you can take on somebody that maybe not isn't as great amongst that competitive contention of threats to your title. You can do that. Win. Have an easy going, situation. And then go back into the fray because, again, you still got to defend against the baddest people there. But the fact that Beterbiev is still doing something in Bivol is just completely out of sight, out of mind. After doing the stuff that he did to make this fight happen in the first place. That's where my concern, that's where my stuff is. It's not about taking a light touch. It's about now you started this train that you said you wanted to ride. And now you jumping off. And it's like, what the world? You wanted you were the one that led the charge to say, I want this fight. I'm just confused. Even if you want to break, that's fine. But at least also have a tune-up set up along with Arthur instead of you being so disassociated from the whole landscape of what we know is coming down the pipe. That's where I have, for me, that's why I have my problem with it. And it's just, it really is frustrating. Let me see. Yo, kid, what's good with you? How you doing? Appreciate you tuning in. Just so glad that you're here with us on today. And so we're happy to be with you. Glad to see you coming through. And hold on, excuse me. Let me get some water real quick. I need something. I was not prepared. Yeah. I was not prepared. I was not prepared. In all honesty, to go this long. It's not because I wasn't prepped for the show. It was just, hey, this is a pleasant surprise. A very pleasant surprise indeed for me. And so I love it. I'm glad. Let me keep on reading. Same drama, just some elevated emotions. And apparently Buzz lawyer called a content creator telling him to fall all the way back. Oh yeah. And see, and real quick, let me touch on this. Where's the button? Where's the button? There we go. Let me touch on this right here. And yes, I am a small, I don't know, what am I? A journalist, content creator, analyst. I don't know what the word my title is. I'm just trying to make a show that's great. I really am. I try to analyze sport, entertain, all this stuff. But amongst that content creator thing, I am making content. So I'm small. I give it to you. But we try to do something substantive here. But calling out these people should not be a surprise. It shouldn't. Because journalists who call out stuff, especially if it's wrong, get called out. Pundits, experts, and other people in the normal scape of media get called out all the time. This is also a media landscape. Don't forget. We got people on podcasts like Cigar Talk getting interviewed with some of the biggest names in the sport. Inside scoops that the likes of ESPN aren't getting. That the likes of the Zone's journalists don't get. They get information. There's a pathway. Boxers are reaching out to content creators. Not just to work with them, but to do stuff with them. Do shows together. Break news together. This is as much of a medium of information and actual weight as what you see with on TV. And boxers recognize it. The media landscape has changed. Showbiz the Adult off of YouTube has been able to become something on the zone consistently. Partnerships and all. Calling fights and everything. Having his own doggone section on the Zone app for when major fights are happening, and he's able to call it live in the stadium. While you watch the fight, he is literally on screen. This is a legitimate thing. Now, I think people do it differently. People have their own mode of how they do it. But this is still legitimate. And so because of that, you are still prepped. You are still in position to get called out over the stuff that you get, especially if it's not true. Don't take offense to it, But that comes with the territory, and that's why you better make sure your stuff is right. That's the whole thing. This is why you got it. You can't. And again, I went to college. I got my degree, master's degree. I'm a bad brother. I did the work. When it comes to journalism, you're going. Criticism is not above reproach. You're gonna get criticized even for the stuff that you say that is correct. Because again, everybody's got opinions. Everybody want to agree with you. But especially if you say stuff out of pocket and an athlete comes at you and say, hey, buddy, what are you doing? Who are you trying to make a fool of? You brought that on yourself. You brought that on yourself. That's the thing. You can't get hot. You can't get upset because you're saying stuff that's literally not backed by anything. It would be different if it was, hey, this is actually true. This actually did happen. X, Y, Z took place, hence why I said what I said, which is valid. I would love to hear a different perspective from the actual source itself. You, the athlete, but the reports, what I'm saying isn't out of the realm of, I'm just picking stuff up off the ground. If you got a problem, yes, address it. Absolutely. Let's talk. Did I handle it differently? Could I have said something better? Beyond the information, did I present it in a way that was indeed disrespectful? Beyond just the level of critiquing, there is a difference. There is a line in calling out the truth and disrespectfully demeaning an athlete. There is a difference that some people in big media companies that work with ESPN and others, as we talked with Skip Bayless in the past, who used to work with ESPN, Jason Whitlock, that worked with ESPN, Fox, and all these other things. We know how that went. There is a line that absolutely can and has been crossed on multiple occasions. There is a demarcation that you shouldn't do. But if you're within that line, hey, there's a way to handle it. Once you cross it though, now, yeah, you brought this on yourself. Don't be getting mad because you said something that ain't right, that ain't backed, that ain't true, or that is privy to ruin the outlook of somebody when it's not deserved. You gotta understand, the mediascape is a very fine line for the sense of how you gotta operate in it. Yes, you need to get news. Yes, it's our job to inform you what's going on. No question. But at the same time, it is also our responsibility to make sure that there's certain things we don't go at. There's certain things that we don't mess up from the standpoint of blending from the standpoint of trying to get the information out or trying to tell the truth. You then going through, and now you're going above and beyond, and now you're besmirching the name of somebody, besmirching the reputation of somebody that is undeserved based on the actions that they've done. You can't do that. Because when you do, now you are open to getting checked. Stephen A. got checked for good reason. Don't forget that. That's a prime example. Stephen A. got checked for a good reason. Skip Bayless has been checked for a good reason. Because it went beyond critiquing. Now it went down, you are messing up you are wrongfully messing up the image of a person because of lies that you perpetuate. That you are trying to go in, again, the story over the substance. Yes, the story is important, but when you value that over the substance of the thing, now you go into that, you will compromise things about yourself that you would never thought. Next thing you know, now you're in a rabbit hole of absolute hearsay and conspiracy. That didn't go through the open up, hey, buddy, you can get popped in the mouth. You can't. You really can't. And so, can they be mad? And again, who is mad? Again, full disclaimer, I'm outside of whatever beef is going on. I'm not exactly sure who's mad at who. I will be clear. I'll make that perfectly clear. I don't know who's mad at who. I don't know who said what. I'll make that perfectly clear. But I do know that the topic of conversation is Bud, Victor Conte, PEDs, perpetuating stuff that he's always been dirty, whatever the case may be, something along those lines. Something of that forefront of he's dirty going into a Canelo fight. For means, because of situations that, again, have not been aptly proven. Like I said, it is I don't trust Victor Conte. And I trust Bud with everything because I know what Bud's about. But because there is a rift between the distrust and trust between two people that are indeed working together, I have been saying be skeptical, but do not jump to conclusion. Look for trouble because it can inevitably pop up. But do not dig up fake trouble. Be aware, but don't be paranoid. There's a difference. Because when you do that now, that's how we get this drama that we got right now. Let me see. Why black people always think it's okay to hit somebody because their feelings hurt, and you claimed you went to college. Well, see, I don't think that's true. I'm black. We don't condone hitting people. Now, again, I use punch in the mouth as a means. Again, going off the Mike Tyson quote. Everybody got a plan until they get punched in the face. Like going off of that. Again, we are talking box. But when I say the punch in the mouth or checked, that's more so. Don't be surprised. I'm not condoning physical altercations. Be clear. But we are saying all those phrases are to signify. Do not be surprised when somebody comes at you and confronts you about stuff that you try to make up and or try to wrongfully spin to make a certain narrative and or idea for your own personal gain. Because that you brought that type of anger and that type of problem on yourself. And don't feel some type of way when they come at you. Because you also know what you said. Now, again, there's some situation when somebody has said something that's correct. And the person didn't like it. And they tried to check them. Hey, now they're wrong. Now the athlete, whoever the word is coming out and saying, I got a problem with what you said. Now they're wrong because now I didn't say anything that was a lie about this. Nor did I phrase it in a manner that was anything derogatory. But this is apt and deserved criticism. I'm not on the side of wrong in that situation or anybody else for that matter when it's that way. But when it's the other side, and it is something that, again, is indeed conspiratorially, when it is something that is indeed falsely accusing, now we're getting into the weeds of you have created your own problem. And people get real comfortable behind these screens. They do. And I try to make sure, hey, brother, I am just a man like anybody else. I want money. I want fame. I want all that stuff. Cachet pool. I want to be able to enjoy life. No question. I want to be rich. Who doesn't? And I love doing this, and I want this as my job. But at the same time, prayerfully, my prayer is no matter how big I get, I never forget that, hey, I got to make sure I watch what I say so I don't go through and lose myself in trying just to get the story. Because if I do that, now I'm just as much disposed as with anybody to get checked by somebody who is indeed, hey, brother, what you trying to do? There's words have meaning and weight. And if you use them to try to wrongfully criticize somebody, now if they want to defend what they are as a person, you can't be all of a sudden having a problem because of a lie that you told, and all of a sudden, oh, we're just trying to it's all in good fun, or we're just trying to drum up the rumor mill, or XYZ, rah, 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 all that stuff. those types of answers are cop outs for a problem that you made. It's like when somebody pranks somebody, and then they get mad that the person who pranked them, it's like if somebody gets pranked. Excuse me. It's like if someone played a prank on somebody, and the person who got pranked wanted to beat them up and or yell at them. And all of a sudden you say, hey, brother, chill. It's just a prank. Why are you so mad? It's just a prank. Because, brother, you did something that they didn't expect, that was not funny, had them thinking completely different, and potentially could have put them in some level of danger and or compromising position. And it wasn't one of those, oh, ha, you want some water? Up, it's seltzer water. Ha, ha, ha. Oh, so funny. You put what in my drink? You asked for one ice cube, I put in two. Or whatever the joke was in SpongeBob. I'm a big SpongeBob fan. But you can't, how do I say this? You can't slap a tiger and not expect the tiger to roar. You can't bite the hand that feeds you and not expect to either A, not get fed, or B, get slapped in kind. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. And every word has a potential opportunity to backfire on you if you don't watch what you say. You got to, and I'm not saying, don't speak up against people. I'm not saying that. When I say watch what you say, you got to be careful with your words and with how you present stuff. And you cannot be so adamant as to just flying off the handle with the first thing that comes to mind because you just want to get the stuff out there. Or perpetuate a lie or an ideology about somebody that goes through and indeed is negatively affecting them. And they have no ties to it. And then you then go and say, I'm just trying to ask questions. Y'all heard that? Y'all heard that phrase before? I'm just asking the question. I'm just going through. I'm not doing anything bad. I'm just asking the question. That type of rhetoric normally is backed, or the reason for them saying, I'm just asking questions, or I'm just drawing parallels. Not all the time, but a lot of times. It's because they're saying something that is indeed insinuating and or full-blown condemning somebody of an action that outright is a belligerent lie. But I'm just asking questions is just, hey, I'm just putting a food for thought in there for you to think about, isn't this a coincidence? Isn't this just uncanny? Isn't that just the strangest thing? Stuff like that. Now, yes, I've said those terms before, but you've seen how I've used them. Not in everything I've said has, to the best of my ability, been backed by the rightful stuff. And so these parallels are actually conducive. But for others, that's not the case. And if you got problems with Bud because you going and saying stuff that ain't right about Bud, but you're just trying to say, ooh, I'm just trying to ask questions so we understand what's on the up and up. We see, they see through that. We see through that. And that's why Bud is mad. That's why he's checking content creators. That's why he's going at these people, defending who he is as a man, as a person, as a boxer. And so you as people on the internet, but we can't, just trying to make a living, sure. But we can't get upset because somebody, or you can't get upset at an issue that you created. You can't do that. You can't get upset at a problem that you orchestrated because you were trying to push an agenda that is negatively affecting somebody that is not even backed by being true. Because now you fight with people. Now you're going, especially in the boxing world, because now you're going up against people that got money and can fight straight up. So whichever way you want it, they can give it. Again, not condoning violence. Be clear. But we are also all smart enough to know that some people will just punch you in the face. Mike Tyson, modern day Mike Tyson is as calm as can be. But there was a brother that was messing with him on the elevator. And continually he gave that brother opportunities to stop. Guess what happened? He punched that brother in the face with 4 hooks quick as lightning. That's how it was. That's how it sounded. Face was blown on an airplane. Excuse me, airplane. Thank you, airplane. Thank you. Thank you, Apple. Appreciate it. Thank you, Apple. And also, great comment. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and keep on sharing the show. We appreciate it. Again, I'm not trying to ramble. It's still you all's show. It's still the championship rounds because you all can still drive the conversation. But it's important because this does need to be said from somebody. Mike Tyson punched the butt on the airplane after giving him opportunities to say, "Hey, I'm sorry. I apologize." All this, chance after chance. But what happened? He got punched in the face, and he didn't have a plan after he got punched in the face. Literally, the saying boded true right before our eyes. I don't use that verbiage just to be like, "Oh, you better watch what you say, or you're gonna get knocked out." No, I'm saying you better watch what you say, or you can be in trouble. The biggest of which being you can get knocked out because of what you say. Again, if it is not true, or if it is indeed a horrible sentiment of just belligerent nonsense. It's not that violence is the answer. It's not. But violence can happen. There's a reason why Teofimo Lopez, when he met up with Bud face to face after his whole racist diatribe he had been going through, brother, he straightened up real quick. Because he knew what he was dealing with. All of a sudden, he wasn't acting nearly like that. And then when he got away, guess what? Right back to calling him the hard ER. We remember the clip. This isn't me trying to just scare people. Oh yeah, you're gonna get knocked out. No. It's because you only do that because you think you are required to a isolated situation. You're in your bubble and you're not. And because you are not in a bubble, you think you're safe from your own brand of criticism. You ain't. Nobody is. So it's best to just stick with the facts as much as you can. And at least if you say at least if you're saying something that ain't got evidence, at least say, "Hey, full disclaimer. I do this all the time. Full disclaimer. I have nothing to back this, but this is what I think is going down. I have nothing to back this, but this is what I feel may be going through." Da 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 da. At least have that as a buffer. But you're saying as fact just breeds you for a sense of, you're in trouble. And so you just can't do that. And hopefully, prayerfully, I am doing that with you all. I'm not calling no channels out. I don't even know who exactly is the one doing the drama. But I do know that it has been a problem in the boxing community for a very long time. Yes, it's also because the sport itself is corrupt and has a bunch of understated stuff going on. So yeah, everybody's untrustworthy. I completely understand that. But even with that distrust, there's got to be a level of, again, it can't be paranoia, because then everything looks sketchy and then everything is wrong. And that's just not the case. That's just not the case. All of a sudden, if everything's bad, nothing's good, why are you watching the sport? If there's a boogeyman behind every corner, my gosh, why go outside? If there is indeed, if a bullet can kill me at any moment, why in the world would I ever want to leave the house? Moving like that only breeds a sense of damaging implications. It's best to move, but move accordingly and move with a mindset. I just have to be careful, dot my I's, cross my T's. If I don't know something, I don't know something. If I do know something, but I ain't got it all, say I don't know, I say I know something, but I ain't got it all. So based on what I know, dot. It's simple and easy. I don't know why. And again, I'm not calling nobody out. It has just been a problem that I've seen for a long time that has led to a lot of conversations that should not be had. That have bred the stigmas about fighters that people still believe to this day. That just ruin it. It's so frustrating. But I do apologize. Let me see. That is one of the great temperature checks. Yeah, it is. You're right. It is. No question about it. But again, but I do apologize. I did not mean to go on. I did not mean to go on a diatribe, but it was important. At least I felt it was important. That needed to be said. Because if not, if anything, just to give an implication of what this channel is going to be about. Or the standard of this channel should be for that I'm trying to hold our channel to, just to make sure it can be better for you all. But let me keep on reading. Let's see. Try not to get rich. Get rich, brother. Okay, you know what? You're right. I apologize. I'm not trying to get rich. I'm going to get rich. I'm going to be famous. We have all this stuff, houses, cars, trucks, vans, SUVs, whatever, whatnot, flying private all across the globe, and hopefully being able to meet you all and maybe down the future even do some stuff for you all in the community. Because I tell you what, I've seen other channels do it. That would be great if we can make that happen. But again, that's why we're growing. That's why we're shining. That's why we're going to make this thing work. That's why that's how we take 30 minutes. That is why we take 30 minutes of content in a show. And we make it 3 hours of actual substance, because we are going to be great. No matter what you give us, no matter what we do, no matter how we go about this thing, and I do mean we going to dominate. We going to make this thing the hottest show on all the globe. I promise you that. Because I guarantee you, we got the best fan base out there. I promise you. See, yeah, you got a free ticket. I'll book you to get a free ticket to the Tank Road Trial. I remember. Made us jealous as all get out. Doggone it. But hey, maybe, hopefully down the line, we can do it when we get a little more when we get a little more play with the amount of with our funds. Maybe we can do that somewhere down the line. We got big plans, big ideas we want to make for this channel, absolutely. But that's why we're growing. That's why, as Kingdom Box can say, we gonna get rich. Also, I didn't even say what's up. I think I forgot to say hi. Kingdom Boxing, how you doing? If I didn't say hi to you, how are you? Anybody else that didn't say hi to you, how are you? I'm glad that you're here. But yeah, we gonna get rich, so we can make all this stuff happen. Absolutely. Now, again, if you win something, great. If you lose, hey, don't shoot the message. Like I said, it's gonna be random. It's gonna be random. I don't want nobody throwing messages at me saying, hey, brother, I've been with you since XYZ, and it's gonna be, how dare you do this to me? I mean, hey, brother, hey, it was a raffle. Nobody got any favoritism. I don't want nobody jumping on my back saying, how dare you leave me in the dust with giveaways or whatever we do on this channel. But I promise you, we're going to do some great stuff on this show, and we're going to do it together. It may take a minute. I'm going to be real. I don't know how long. I don't know how quick or fast it's going to go. But I promise you, it's going to be something great. I guarantee you, when we hit it off, we're going to hit it off. And it's going to happen before we even realize it. Because this community is something special. And y'all are something incredible. In or outside of this channel, y'all are still spectacular. Y'all do some great things. Y'all travel the world. Y'all do all this stuff, work, school, whatever the case may be. Y'all are the backbone of this channel because y'all are, you're real. You're real. Both with yourself and with me. If you don't agree, you tell me. If you think I'm dumb, you tell me. If you agree, you tell me. If you want to switch subjects, brother, y'all tell me. Yes, y'all do. So I'm for it. But because of that, I keep this thing grounded. It helps me to never forget this channel is built off the backs of being as real as can be. Regardless of being informed and all that stuff, you all make this thing great. And I do appreciate it oh so much. And you're thriving in or outside of this channel. Then shoot, y'all were already great before I got here. I just happened to find you. Or rather, you just happened to find me and introduce me to how great y'all are. And hopefully I've done the same with me, with my presence on this show. But I think we're going to wrap it up. We don't want to drag it on too long. Because like I said, and we keep pushing it, now it's going to get into gratuitous. And then it's going to be hours of nonsense. So I don't think I got nothing else I can say on this show. Unless y'all got other questions. Which again, we're going to be back on Thursday and Friday. We didn't change the week schedule. We just couldn't get a show on Tuesday, so we had to do it today. And we're going to do it 3 days out the week, hopefully. Lord willing, prayerfully. Some stuff pops up. We're still going to do 3 shows a week like we always do. So be here on Thursday and on Friday, as we do every week, for a phenomenal slew of shows coming down throughout the week. And with all that being said, I think we're going to get, hold on, I think we got somebody else just joined. Real quick. Yo, Ninja, hey brother, how you doing? Good to see you. Thanks so much for being on the show. So glad that you're here with us on today. But we getting ready to get out of here. You caught the tail. See, you caught the tail end of it. I knew that I had a feeling this was going to happen. But because we started late, or rather we had to start a day before, or the day after, excuse me. Good God, I told you, I'm dehydrated. I need some water. But we're going to be back on. You caught the tail end of the show. I'm glad that you tuned in. Leave a like just for the sake of your presence. But we're going to get out of here. And we're going to be back here on Thursday and on Friday. We're doing 3 state days this week, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, covering the world of boxing and beyond. So with all of that being said, almost hit the stop stream button. Hold on, let me do the right thing. There we go. This has been another episode of The Watchable with me, your host, Jean-Luc Welch. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to the show on today. Again, a little bit shorter, I understand. We're going to be back tomorrow and Friday, covering the world of boxing and more sports. Be sure to leave a like on the stream before you leave. Comment your thoughts and opinions before you get out of here in the comment section down below. Hit the notification bell so you know whenever we post on this channel. Subscribe if you have not already, and be sure to share the show with everybody that you know so we can keep on building up this empire together. You and me, we can make this thing do what it do, all with you and your support. If you want to support the channel, anything we'll do, Cash App and PayPal while we're waiting on the process of monetization to fully take hold and finally go through and all that stuff. But we're going to be back tomorrow covering the world of boxing. I've been Jean-Luc Welch. Y'all have been wonderful. Peace and love. We are out of here. Yes, sir. We are going to see you all on Thursday. And this is going to be on the podcast, Apple, Spotify, at the end of the day. So be sure if you missed some, listen to it on the podcast as well. Rate us 5 stars. And peace and love. We are out of here.